All right, it is Friday, January 17th, 2025, 10:36 a.m. My name is Kessie Ian Anderson. Welcome back for another edition of Heresiarch. So the Biodigital Convergence, I just finished watching Game of Thrones over again, the entire seasons. And this is the White Walker moment. So if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, it's all these people fighting back and forth, politicking, kings, queens, knights, magic, etc. Well, while they squabble amongst themselves, something from the north comes in, and it was the White Walkers. So basically, the dead are on a mission to kill the living, and it unites everybody. The biodigital convergence, to me, is this cause. It is the banner moment that should bring everybody together.
We have something to show you.
But to get an idea about it, we need to understand the players involved. So the IEEE, Advancing Technology for Humanity, the professional home for the engineering and technology community worldwide. So you got to pay attention to this group and another group. So we've got the ITU, about International Telecommunication Union. ITU is connecting the world and beyond. As the United Nations Specialized Agency for Digital Technology, we are working towards harnessing innovation and connecting everyone to ensure a better future for all. Who we are. ITU is the United Nations Specialized Agency for Information and Communication Technologies. The organization made up of a membership of 194 member states, more than 1,000 companies, universities, and international and regional organizations, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, of course, and with regional offices in every continent. ITU is the oldest agency in the United Nations family, connecting the world since the dawn of the telegraph in 1865. So between the ITU and the IEEE, those are the two that you got to start looking into. That is where all of this is coming. And this is the grandfather of it all. Or I would almost say just the father of it all. Ian F. Achilles. If you don't know who this is, you got to read through his resume. It's almost impossible what this guy has done, who he works for, and what he does. Watch his videos. There's a bunch of videos that people are posting online. Go to Non-Vaxxer 420 and watch Sabrina Wallace. He literally admits what the magic juice is for, what the injections are for. They're biosensors being put into the body. But for what? For the biodigital convergence. What is the biodigital convergence? Now, there's a website, Biodigcon, Biodigcon.com, biodigcon.com. This is a very important website to go to. Biodigital Convergence and Smart Cities Exposed, the only website of its kind on the planet. And that's not being hyperbolic. Now, what is hyperbole? Hyperbole is when you take something to extremes, you're exaggerating something. Everything I'm telling you, none of this is hyperbolic. So as much as they want to Project Blue Beam us, I'm a huge conspiracy theorist in a lot of areas. It's one of my favorite things to do as just a hobby. The problem is it's spilled over into reality way too much. So the Biodigital Convergence and Smart Cities Exposed. This is a really good condensed source for you to go to. BioDigCon.com. BioDigCon.com. Biodigital Convergence. So if you look at this little graphic on this website, you monitor healthcare, internet, wireless, interface, cyber bio. Bio is biology. Biodigital is biology mixed with digital converging. They want this all to work together. And they are using, like it shows here, AI nanosystems, nanosensor, nanoreceiver, nanotransmitter, interface, cyber bio. People say, oh, well, I wear an Apple Watch. That's how it's doing it. They've taken it further. It is now inside of you. All of these biosensors, all of this nanotech, it is inside of you. That's what you have to understand. It's everything we breathe in now based on what they're spraying overhead. So I did a video. My last video got deleted immediately. I was talking about the carnivore diet that I've been doing. I'm about 470 days on the carnivore diet. And I don't work out enough. But I mentioned biosensors in the meat supply, and it's getting there via Bill Gates vaccinating the food. And that thing was torn down. So everybody else can talk about carnivore all they want, but the way I approached it, nope, I was done. So I got a strike on my account. I'm 2 weeks that I can't post, so I'm putting this directly on Rumble before I can put it on Judeo Corporate Tube. So the biodigital convergence, changing what it means to be human. What is the biodigital convergence? Well, let's click and find out. What is the biodigital convergence? Biodigital convergence is opening up striking new ways to change human beings, our bodies, minds, and behaviors, change or create other organisms, alter ecosystems, sense, store, process, and transmit information. There is so much to unpack in every one of those statements. So much to unpack. But let's continue on. The biodigital convergence is the merging of digital technology with the human body, as well as every living thing on Earth, such as trees, plants, and animals. It also includes incorporating digital technology into our entire ecosystems. The purpose is to connect everyone and everything to a wireless grid spanning the entire globe. This grid can be monitored, controlled, accessed, and manipulated remotely. This is the biggest stuff. And when I see Trump and who he's surrounded himself with, he just had a meeting with Trump. I mean, he had a meeting with Elon Musk. He had a meeting with Bill Gates. He had a meeting with Bezos. He's putting all of them and Peter Thiel of Palantir and Ambrosia fame. These people are the modern day technological wizards and sorcerers, and it's all about pharmakeia. So, documents from governments and international organizations explaining the biodigital convergence. The United States, progress in convergence, basic concepts and applications. Canada, exploring biodigital convergence. Biodigital today and tomorrow, policy horizons Canada. I mean, if you go to the Canadian one, they give you the full script. And all of this is just an overview. I'm just hitting briefly on what this is. But this is it. This is the threat of our time. All politicking. As much as I feel bad about LA and the fires, that's all part of this. That is all part of the biodigital convergence. So we got to pay attention. Pay attention. Use insurance as the canary in the coal mine. As soon as they withdraw insurance, fire claims, you know it's coming. And it's just a matter of time because they're using weather warfare, the chemtrails, the biosensors in the chemtrails and the other chemicals they put into it. Then they use their arsonists, their paid saboteurs to get things going. And then they use all the DARPA tech to use the wind and use everything else to move the fires wherever they want. So that's how they are going to play this. And, oh, it's global warming. They have the perfect alibi. So, United Kingdom. The imperative to use human augmentation may ultimately not be dictated by any explicit ethical argument, but by national interest. So when people say that they're trying to force the magic juice, it's going to get to the point where they will force it for national security purposes. They have to be able to monitor and control and test and train the AIs and even more. So the future of human augmentation should not, however, be decided by ethicists or public opinion, although both will be important voices. Rather, governments will need to develop a clear policy position that maximizes the use of human augmentation in support of prosperity, safety, and security without undermining our values. Well, the UK is already screwed. You have zero freedom of speech. You have no Second Amendment. You are literally a Kalergi plan infiltrated by Israeli NGOs. And that's another thing about the biodigital convergence, why I hit out on Israel and Judaism so much. All of the data centers are in Israel. That's why the United States is so desperate to protect their Zionist psychopaths, is because all of the major research centers and data centers are in Israel. The biodigital convergence is going on, and it is being taken part by the Kabbalists in Israel. There may be a moral obligation to augment people, particularly in cases where it promotes well-being or protects us from novel threats. Well, hell, the novel threat is these people. It could be argued that treatments involving novel vaccination processes and gene and cell therapies are examples of human augmentation already in the pipeline. So anybody who has taken any form of the magic juice is an augmented human. They have synthetic DNA, mRNA inside of them. You are already an augmented human. You don't need Cyberpunk 2077 to be an augmented human. You don't. It's nothing. Everybody thinks it has to be. I have to have a robotic arm growing out or some chip in my brain. No, they've already surpassed that. They've already passed that up using nanotech and the lipid nanoparticles, as well as our biofield. Anybody who doesn't talk about the biofield is a shill. They can hack wirelessly into us using visual light communication, VLC, and optogenetics. And Li-Fi. Light. It's sad that light is now the enemy. So there's a reason why I switched all my light bulbs to incandescent, and I don't use LEDs as little as possible. The ethical and moral implications of human augmentation are profound. Does human augmentation go against nature and undermine people's dignity by robbing them of the ability to live a natural, authentic life? Ministry of Defense, Human Augmentation, the Dawn of a New Paradigm, a Strategic Implications Project. European Union, by 2050, a new form of human, a transhuman, will emerge. I watched Altered Carbon on Netflix and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And then I do fall on the religious side of that. So if you watch that, it presents a cultural argument between religion versus the synths and the stacks that are put into people's bodies to bring them back. So I fall on the religious side of that. So watch Altered Carbon. IEC, an introduction to biodigital convergence, standardization opportunities. These are all links that you can click and read more. IEEE, recommended practice for nanoscale molecular communication framework. World Economic Forum. This fourth industrial revolution is, however, fundamentally different. It is characterized by a range of new technologies that are fusing the physical, digital, and biological worlds, impacting all disciplines, economies, and industries, and even challenging ideas about what it means to be human. The Fourth Industrial Revolution by Klaus Schwab. This connects with the aforementioned IEEE. Industrial cyber-physical systems, a backbone of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So the WHO, the World Economic Forum, WEF, the colleges, universities, literally everybody is in on this, and this is the biggest threat. It's not aliens. It's not any aliens. I guarantee if they present us something of a blue beam type to unite us all, to say, wow, I need to pay higher taxes and form a one world government. Anything that they present to us is going to be an augmented DNA program that's being run by some black budget. So the World Health Organization has established a global, multidisciplinary expert panel to examine the scientific, ethical, social, and legal challenges associated with human genome editing, both somatic and germline. The committee includes members from Africa, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, Oceania, North America, and South America. The committee has been tasked to advise and make recommendations on appropriate institutional, national, regional, and global governance mechanisms for human genome editing. During the course of its work, the committee will review literature on current human genome editing, research, and its applications, consider existing proposals for governance and relevant ongoing initiatives, as well as solicit information about societal attitudes toward the different uses of this technology. WHO Expert Advisory Committee on Developing Global Standards for Governance and Oversight of Human Genome Editing. Report of the second meeting. Augmented Humans International Conference. I mean, let's just take a step back. You're probably hearing this and you're just thinking, augmented humans. What the hell is that phrase even used? Augmented Humans International Conference. What a strange phrase. I mean, it's 2025. And what am I saying? You would have never heard anything like this in the 70s or the 80s, other than people who were involved in this, all the technomancers and the necromancers and the freaks and the sci-fi Philip K. Dick people. Yeah, they were thinking through on this. Now, the conference focuses on physical, cognitive, and perceptual augmentation of humans through digital technologies. The plural humans emphasizes the move towards technologies that enhance human capabilities beyond the individual and will have the potential for impact on a societal scale. Topics discussed include security, privacy, and trust aspects of augmented human technology, augmentation of human health through digital technologies, brain-machine interfaces, augmented virtual and mixed reality, bionic systems for amplification, and augmentation of human abilities, and digital technologies for physical, cognitive, mental, and perceptual augmentation. Since 2010, annual international conferences on human augmentation have been held. Augmented Humans, International Conference 2025. So think about this. When Trump came out and he said, we need to bring thousands of more immigrants in, hundreds of thousands more, because of artificial intelligence. Now, maybe I'm totally up in the night here. Maybe I'm totally Looney Tunes. Isn't the point of AI to allow a better quality of life? Instead, we're diluting the population just so corporations can have cheaper labor? What about the Optimists? What about these Tesla bots? What about Boston Dynamics? What about all these robots that they're supposedly cranking out? Isn't that to give us a life of a little bit more ease? Am I wrong as the peasant class? Am I wrong to think that? Have I been wrong this whole time? For some reason, I thought that they're worried about overpopulation. And now, oh no, our birth rates are dropping. We got to bring in everyone. Wait, what's going on? There's more to whatever the hell these dudes at the top have going on than they're letting on, because it just doesn't make sense to use AI and increasing the population in the same sentence. Wouldn't it mean that, okay, let's say our country has, after the magic juice and deportations that Trump's going to do, isn't it going to bring us down to about maybe, 300 million people? Or shouldn't it? And then shouldn't we be able to use AI and these robots to maybe put everybody on a pretty awesome standard of living? Oh, I have my internal dishwasher. Oh, I have my internal clothes folder. I have my internal synthetic that can stay at the elderly home while I'm not there and actually carry on conversation, associate with the old people that are lonely, or whatever the use is going to be for. Why can't we live a high quality instead of a mass quantity of whatever the hell goy slop and goy slurp and goy shabos nonsense they're throwing at us? I don't understand it. None of this makes sense where they think we're supposed to go with this. Is it the AI that'll be the rulers and we become the slaves? That's what it seems like to me. Seems like whatever the hell this AI desperation is, it's not in for our benefit. So, nano-bio-info-cogno. A concept associated with the biodigital convergence is nano-bio-info-cogno, MBIC, which encompasses The converging of nanotechnologies, biotechnologies, information technologies, and cognitive science technologies. These are the four sometimes overlapping broad categories that make up MBIC. Of these four, nanotechnologies are the most prominent. Nanotechnology, along with the other technologies, are discussed more in depth on the following pages. So let's back up. So that's the biodigital convergence, changing what it means to be human. So the biodigital convergence uses nanotech. Nanotechnology. What is nanotechnology? Here we go. What is nanotechnology and how does it work? Physical space. Cyberspace. Again, I'm a little out there, but I'm telling you, the digital world that they're presenting to us is the conduit to the spiritual. That's the way they're looking at it. And I am not unconvinced that it's not true. So the internet, it is harnessing the spirit world. I'm not saying it is the spirit world. I'm saying it's a tool that we can reach out to the spirit world. But that's just me. It's just the weird way I look at it to make sense of things. Tiny networks of engineered machinery exist inside your body right now. Fact. Period. Undisputable. Anybody who tells you that that's crazy, they're crazy. And they're uninformed and they're ignorant. So if they are now presented with new information and are willing to change their mind, then they're not insane and they're not NPCs and they're not golems. They are children of God if they can change their mind. So tiny networks of engineered machinery exist inside your body right now. If you hear that and your cognitive dissonance kicks in, you have a problem. You got to do more research and you have to open your context. You have to increase your context and then fill it with more content. So you need to do more research. You need to do more study. It's in all of us and in nearly everything. It's called nanotechnology. It has been put into our air, rain, soil, plants, animals, and every human. Nanotechnology involves engineering and manipulating atoms and molecules at a nanoscale, 1 to 1,000 nanometers. Particles in this scale are referred to as nanoparticles. The range of scale from 1 to 100 nanometers is where quantum effects happen, which is why some organizations tend to emphasize this range within the nanoscale to the point of defining nanoparticles as such, which is a misnomer. Nanomaterials can be defined as physical substances of which a single unit is sized in at least one dimension between 1 and 1,000 nanometers, but is usually 1 to 100 nanometers. Now with nanotech, you cannot see that in a regular microscope. It is so small, you have to have better technology to even see it. The engineering of nanoparticles is called nanotechnology. The word nanoparticles refers synthetic nanoparticles made from this process and will be used synonymously with nanotechnology throughout this website. Then there's a nanomaterial database. I'm telling you, you guys gotta go to this website. It's just worth it to give you a base understanding of what we're talking about. The nanotechnology in our bodies consists of engineered nanoparticles and nanoscale machinery, known as nanomachines or nanobots. They contain embedded software for storage and performing tasks. They have transceivers to send and receive messages at the nano level. They have the ability to reproduce. They can fabricate and replicate components and are capable of self-assembling. They are equipped with nanosensors and actuators that use nanoscale communication technologies, molecular communication, terahertz-based nanoelectromagnetic communication. They also contain a power generator that harvests energy from the body, which can store power in cells within the nanomachine and maintain electrical current software. Energy harvesting in nanosystems, powering the next generation of the Internet of Things. So so many of us feel run down. Now, yeah, you could blame it. For me, you can blame it on diet, maybe. Maybe the carnivore diet. Everybody says, oh, you're going to feel just blod. There are days that I don't have a lot of energy, just to be honest. There are days that I do. Then there are days that I get the weirdest ringing in my ears, and then I get a weird pressure. It just kind of goes a whoop, 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 whoop on one side. And then sometimes my lady will say the same thing. She gets hit with something. And then we're just drained sometimes. My 2 cents, we are getting tested by the digital backbone. They're hitting us with the towers, or our phone is zapping us, or our router is hitting us. Anything in the kill grid, which is your Zigbee system, Then our piezoelectric. Piezoelectric is your physical movement, kinetic movement powering something. The nanotech can use our movements to power itself, as well as siphon from us energy, because we are electrical beings, our biofield. We're being hacked into, we're being tapped into, all without our consent. Nanomachines inside the body form intra-body nano-networks, referred to as the Internet of Nano Things. Now we have the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. And then we have the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. We have the Internet of Things. That's how it started. And this all goes back to E and F Achilles. Everybody needs to, number one, look up the IEEE, look up ITU, and look up E and F Achilles. This guy, I mean, if you read his resume, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Borderline too much. I almost can't accept this guy. Like, it is just bananas, everything he's been involved in and who he is and what he does. It's unbelievable. So, a simulation framework for connecting in-body nanocommunication with out-of-body devices. So these things are communicating back and forth. They're using high-end frequencies, like terahertz. So how many years? So let's take 31 trillion seconds. Or, a trillion seconds, How long in years is 1 trillion seconds? This is to help us kind of understand where we're going with this. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. And now they want to hit us with a terahertz, which, if I'm understanding it correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a trillion up and down wavelengths hitting you in 1 second. Our bodies aren't made for this stuff. And if they are, well, praise God for making such a badass, enduring meat suit that loves the abuse. So intra-body nano network, nanosensors, biosensors, and there are hundreds of different biosensors. When I talk about the spike protein in the magic juice, that's just one version of biosensors for the COVE band. They have M-band, medical body area networks, wide body area networks. And when I say body, our body is now connected just like our router, just like our cell phone. We are as much connected to the internet now as those were. So where's this going? Where is this going? Are we going to get a revelation? Are we going to get a manifestation? Now, I don't have confidence in rapture. I don't buy the Jesus narrative. They are going to present a Jesus character to dupe people even more so than people who already accept Trump as a Christ character. But they are going to present something. So don't get on the ships. Don't go underground. So nanosensors, biosensors, or bio-nanosensors are nanostructures that detect and measure a variety of things such as chemicals, light, temperature, gases, electric fields, physical or biological materials at the nanoscale. Biosensors are nanosensors that have biological elements in their construction. There are several ways to categorize the types of nanosensors based on their structure and application. Nanosensors, along with nanoantennas and nanotransceivers, form wireless nanosensor networks, WNSNs. Nanosensors are used in everything from medical diagnostics to electronics, monitoring water quality, weather modification, farming, to food production, including packaging and transportation. Now, we think of materials, another one is metamaterials, but we think of a car, we think of something metallic, we think of something with substance and hardness to it. We don't quite put it together that bio-organic material can also be machines. And that's what's going on. Light triggers it. Wireless frequencies trigger it. So recently, nanosensors have taken a lot of applications in the fields of pharmacy, medicine, industry, and etc. Nanosensors can be utilized to solve many human problems and treat disease, as they can easily be adapted to the environment. That's what they're saying. Have any of us seen any of this actually work? Have they come out and said, we have cured this using these internal robots running around your body? I haven't seen it. In fact, the only thing I'm seeing are people dying. I'm just seeing a huge mass die-off of people who have taken the magic juice. It hits people differently. People who are weaker, their immune system, their DNA and genetics, certain people are more adept to dying suddenly than others. But what has been proven with this is it has a payload. I don't even think they've activated the payload inside of most of us yet. So what I'm saying is even if you're not vaxxed, you still will get hacked into. We all have this tech in us. Now, to what degree, I don't know. So like nanogels, you have hydrogel, carbon nanotubes, graphene, dendrine, peptide-based MPs, chitosan MPs, quantum dots, all-numeric MPs, liposomes, Internet of Bio-Nano Things. The Internet of Bio-Nano Things, a term coined in 2008 by leading telecommunications expert Professor Ian F. Achildes of the IEEE, refers to the networks of natural and synthetic nanoscale entities such as nano-biosensors or genetically engineered bacteria called bio-nano things. Now, the genetically engineered bacteria, they're using E. coli. So whenever you see E. coli anywhere in the news that they mention an E. coli outbreak, it's because they are shoving this shit into us through the food chain. We're getting hit from every angle. And is it for our good? Who decides if this is good for us? Who has the right? Which one of these people at the top, these techno gods in their own minds, think they have the right to expletive with us? In all ways, we are being technologically and biologically raped. And it's just the Noah Yuval Hararis of the world. These damn demons, literal demons. And when I say demons, I do not believe some of these people come from the same soul as us. Now, this is what freaks me out is there are people in the world who have a belief in God and have a belief in Satan. And some people have gone so far as to give up all their agency in that arena. Some people will say, I did good, the glory goes to God. God was acting through me. I technically had nothing to do with it. I did bad. Satan was acting through me. I was acting as a conduit. I actually had nothing to do with it. I was a tool in their hands. Hell no. Hell no. I don't buy that for a minute. That takes away all accountability. That takes away all progress. That takes away all growth. That makes you just a transceiver, and where you're focused at, Satan or God, determines who is controlling you. I cannot buy that. I do not buy that for a minute. So, this, however, I almost wonder now. I've actually had to take a couple steps back on that idea of, is that how it works? Is that literally how it works? Is we're just a damn antenna receiver and we're just getting manipulated. Now, we are getting MK Ultra'd through a lot of ways. Through media, through radio, through patriots that are just ignorant and they just talk about stupid and I was one of them. I've talked about a lot of dumb stuff. I've been sidetracked like crazy. But then there's this stuff. I mean, is that all we are? So the reason why I'm so stuck on this is because I want to pretend that I like focusing on higher level thinking. And to me, higher level thinking is, why are we here? Where are we going? What's the point? What's the meaning of life? Blah, blah, blah. But then if you get into the movers and the shakers, like anybody who has a name, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, those guys, they are nothing. It's the board of directors on all of these. Like the Larry Finks of the world, they're nothing. Who are the other board of directors? Who actually runs things? Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, the owners of BlackRock, that type of thing. Who are the actual movers and shakers behind the scenes? But then you get into the Saoirse Stones and you get into the Ronald Bernards, the Illuminati bankers, and they say that it is off-world entities running this. Now, who's to say? Me personally, the more I'm learning about cube satellites, and there's CubeSats, Internet of CubeSat things, drone warfare, If you look at my other video, I read through the entire 24-page DoD Directive 3000.09 autonomous weapons systems, where the AI is literally running and choosing who kills other people and how the government's take is on it. So basically, the more I'm reading about all this, the more I do not buy these satellites, SpaceX, Dragon. All the talk about Mars is straight bullshit, guys. Anybody pushing the Mars narrative, BS. We cannot. We will not. So there's more going on. I argue there's more land. There's more land that they're not telling us about. And then this whole Greenland thing, sketchy, sketchy, sketchy. Don't look over here, look over here. Think mirror. So, as above, so below. Whatever they say, whenever they say look north, look south. I just don't trust any of it. Whatever we are on, whatever, and I hate to buy simulation theory. I don't want to accept that. But at least I want to pretend that I'm using my mind and my brain and trying to think through complex ideas or thoughts or narratives. And I hope that helps. Anyway, so let's keep going. So telecommunications expert Professor Ian F. Achildes of the IEEE refers to the networks of natural and synthetic nanoscale entities such as nanobiosensors or genetically engineered bacteria called Bio-Nano things, which combine biological entities, you, cats, dogs, animals, with synthetic nanoscale devices. Bio-Nano things involve engineered bacteria such as E. coli, biological cells, synthetic plasmonic nano antenna, transceivers, energy harvesting devices, and storage units for continual power supply. BNT are deployed into the human bloodstream with the purpose of connecting the body to the Internet of Things. IEEE, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, smart computing in the human body. And they always present it as for our health. It's for our health. Everything's for our health. That is the biggest Trojan horse. Now, what is a Trojan horse? Trojan horse is when the Greeks used a gift of a giant wooden horse to be towed in past the gates of Troy. And then the Greek army, part of them, were hiding inside of that horse, hopped out, unlocked the gates at night, allowing the rest of the army to go in and wipe out the Trojans. This is a modern-day Trojan horse. Everything they're telling us, smart cities, 15-minute walkable cities, LED, our Li-Fi, our lights, everything that is being done, it's a digital hellscape. To me, it is to go from 3D with a physical body to make us accept to go to 2D. They want us to regress. They don't want us to progress. They want us to go from physical to spiritual, which to me is death. Oh, but we're just going to look over your social media. And then basically using AI, we can guess what you would have said. So we can reduplicate your personality. Isn't that good enough? I mean, this is Black Mirror shit. Black Mirror. A recent video presentation by Ian Achildes on the application of BNT with healthcare model panacea can be found here. Inside the body's future, how bio-nano things will change disease detection. BONTs and IOBNT framework stand as crucial pieces of the Internet of Everything. IOE, underpinning the expansion of our connectivity to a universal scale. Graphene and related materials for the Internet of Bio-Nano things. And what scares me too is when you look at the carbon nanotubes and the biolattices and the graphene. It's in the damn Star of David. Why is everything 6? 666. 6,666. I mean, it's literally, these people. So that makes me believe further that there is more going on in the world and that we're not just here for no reason because it's way too coincidental. Now, Sabrina Wallace talks about the computers that IBM uses. They weren't created. They were discovered. They were already where they were. And we've just spent the last 30, 40 years using them, since the 20s and 30s when they were discovered, to reverse engineer them as much as possible so we understand them. So whatever the hell this chessboard is, it's being reset multiple times. And then the powers that be, the douchebags running this shit, they're the ones that are keeping the tech, certain puzzle pieces in place to be discovered so that we can rapidly advance again. I guess. I don't know. I am a big proponent of Tartaria, mud flood ideas, though I can't 100% get on board with that, but I do know our history is a straight scam. I mean, more so than ever, especially now that AI is coming out. Our kids are done. Our kids are cooked. They will have no clue how to anchor to a baseline fundamental nuclear family. And it was on purpose. It's to make us believe that our bodies are nothing to be discarded for transgenderism, for transhumanism. That's all Zohar stuff. So I came across all this researching Judaism and singularity and Shema and oneness, and that's how all of this blew open. And it just made perfect sense because AI, singularity, artificial intelligence is literally the closest thing you can come to in Judaism to explain their version of a god. And they're the clowns running the show. So Internet of Everything, blockchain-based market. That's what you have to understand too. All the crypto bros and Trump is, we got to push crypto, national priority. Crypto, the blockchain, that's using us as the internet. That is it. Internet of we are, it's just frustrating. So demoralizing. So Dennis Bushnell, former chief scientist NASA, Langley Research Center, speaks in this clip about the global sensor grid containing 10 to 100 trillion sensors networked and monitored by satellites, all within 5 to 10 years, according to the Pentagon. This was recorded in 2018. So I thought the satellites were going to help us for telemetry to either go to the moon and then to Mars. No, it is 100% locking in the kill grid. We are going to be in a Judeo-corporate hellscape of Noahide law. We're done. We are done. And if you choose to live an upright, decent, I want to have a family, I want to have a home, you will probably be imprisoned for that because it's going to be considered anti-Semitic. To be the most degenerate piece of garbage, that's the only way that you can get by to add to their divide and conquer techniques. And if you're Amalek, you're done. Done. Game over. So the blockchain, high performance grids, Internet of Energy, and they're going to sell it to us as if it's going to be this utopia and not Skynet. We've already seen this. I mean, the television, the movies that they allowed to be shown, it's set us up for this. Internet of agricultural things. Jesus. Internet of plants and animals. Yup, they're putting all of this in the food and produce. That's why, again, I said I was carnivore. I do carnivore because I want to pretend that the animal is taking the biosensor hit and it helps break it down on my behalf. Plants, they don't have that complex of a digestive tract. So, God, we're so screwed. And I'll put this in there. It's called IBOL, IBOL. It's the biological database where they're literally getting the DNA of everything cataloged and scribed. So, I mean, this is God stuff, basically. So, I pray that God's there. I pray that God cares. I pray that God is a personal God. Because I hate to say it, I hate to be that guy to think that that's our only way out of this is through divine intervention, because I don't trust what they're going to present to us as the divine. So hopefully power of discernment kicks in and I can say, when everybody else is hopping on the rapture ships, that I could, and I sound like a raving lunatic on all of that, but yeah. Anyway, go to biodigcon.com. So one of these, the next videos I do, I'll jump in and deep drill down on one of these. But the stuff that is here and now and has been in place easily since 1995, that's when they could start hacking easily into us without pills, without radio frequencies, RFID chips, nanotech. That's what's hitting us. So I'll stop ranting right now, but this is it. This is the war that we got to get involved in. We got to get involved in this. We got to pick up the banner. We got to start learning about it a little bit and trying to share it with people that will listen. And hopefully we hit some people that are in some positions of power that can assist or that can take any bit of action. for the positive. So this is highly demoralizing because there nothing but something bigger than us is going to stop it at this point, because number one, nobody knows about this, and those that do, it's been 5G, 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 5G'd to the point that it's just a meme. They don't understand what's going on with it and how it affects us. But it's affecting us. It's affecting us every day. So thank you for spending the time with me. Until next time.